Hey, I want to make a video here today that's not going to be very popular. I'll say that right off the bat. But I want to address some statements that have been coming into me lately about the recent Colorado shooting. People are saying, oh, this is the kind of thing you want because you're a no-compromise gun guy. So you don't want any gun laws. So you're okay with this kind of thing happening, what this 18-year-old did with a handgun. Well, no, I'm not okay with it because I'm not okay with murder. I want to talk about the fact that a lot of people know that I'm a no-compromise person, but that doesn't mean I don't believe in personal responsibility. When I say I'm no compromise, I don't believe in any legislation that prohibits a legal, non-incarcerated citizen from exercising their Second Amendment rights. Now, that doesn't mean I don't believe in age limits. I don't think 16-year-olds should be able to vote. I personally don't think 18-year-olds should be able to own guns. Now, I know a lot of people under the age of 21 out there who get all mad at me right now, like, ooh, that's not fair, blah, blah, blah. Come on, dudes, you've been dropping the fucking ball. I mean, come on, eating Tide Pods and all that shit. I think it's about time you all prove you deserve some rights. But I'm not a hypocrite about it. I don't say you got to be 21 to own a gun, but you can still vote at 18 and drive a car at 16. I believe everything should be 21. I don't think you should be able to join the military till you're 21. I don't think you should be able to vote till you're 21. Don't think you should be able to buy weed or alcohol till you're 21. I think that's like a minimum age nowadays for people to be mature enough to handle all their rights and be responsible. So I'm a firm believer of that. Now, all this stuff about, oh, you're a man when you're 16, that's back when people were fucking dying of, sepsis when they were 30 years old. So, you had to mature fast. That ain't the truth nowadays. That just isn't the case. So I'm not a hypocrite. I don't believe anyone should have most of their rights until they're 21 years old. I also believe in personal responsibility. If someone sells an 18-year-old a gun, I think they take responsibility for that because they know this kid's probably not a very responsible adult. He's 18 years old. You can't live in today's society and think 18-year-olds are responsible adults. They're not even physically and psychologically mature until they're about 25. So if you think 18-year-olds are mature and you are willing to bet your reputation on that or your freedom on that by selling them a gun, I believe you should take some responsibility for that. I think that should be something that comes back to haunt you. Now, I'm not saying you should get a felony and go to prison for the rest of your life, but it should be something that you can be held liable for. Just to make you think twice before you sell a gun to someone who might not be responsible. I'm a firm believer of that. I'm a firm believer that if you sell a gun to someone who's sketchy looking, they commit a crime with it, and people can say, listen, you had reasonable suspicion to believe this guy was sketchy. There should be some responsibility for that. Like I said, once again, not the same level as the crime that the person with the gun committed, but still some personal responsibility. Now, where it gets even to where I think you should have more personal responsibility, which may end up being the case in this situation, and it's been the case in a lot of school murders, is if you are a parent and you allow access to your firearms to your children, and they commit a crime with it, I believe you have even more liability. Because that's not someone who came in and stole your guns, etc., anything like that, or another person you barely know. That's your own child that you have a certain level of responsibility for. You allowed them to have access to something that has a great deal of potential to be dangerous, and you just allowed that. But either through incompetence or willfulness, whether you just allow it or you're just not smart enough to lock up your guns. You, as a parent, should bear some responsibility for that. So I'm okay with laws that say, hey, if you allow your kids to have access to guns and then they commit a crime with it, you are extremely liable. Now, like I say, not quite as liable as if you killed someone, but still, there's lots of felony level charges that aren't quite murder, so I think you could be held pretty responsible for that. There's shades of gray. Less responsible if it's a stranger, etc. And not responsible at all if someone commits a crime to get your firearms. Someone breaks into your locked car or breaks into your home. That's someone committing a crime to access your property. You're not responsible for that. I am not okay with laws that say, well, you have to lock your guns up so your kids get them. I don't believe in laws that legislate behavior or responsibility, but I do believe in laws that hold you responsible when you fall down on your required duties to actually be a responsible gun owner or anything else. I'm a firm believer if you loan your car to someone who's like, hey, they took my car, in the divorce and I want to go drinking tonight. Can I borrow your car? And you're like, sure, borrow my car. And they get drunk and run over a bunch of people. And you knew they were going to be drinking and driving. I think you should have some responsibility for that, some liability for that. You made a bad decision. I'm a firm believer of personal responsibility. I'm extra careful in the things I do. I don't take unnecessary risks. I don't even associate with people that I think are questionable people because I don't want to have to later apologize for my association with that person. I don't take a lot of unnecessary personal risks. I consider my responsibility to do the right thing to be something I take very seriously, and I don't want to jeopardize that. So I don't want to jeopardize, people being able to trust me to make good decisions. So even though I don't believe in gun laws that prohibit people from exercising their Second Amendment right, that doesn't mean I don't believe in personal responsibility. It doesn't mean I support murder when someone does something irresponsible with a firearm. Lock those people away for the rest of their lives. Hell, I'm pro-death penalty in some circumstances. So I'm okay with putting down rabid dogs. But just because, like I say, because of no compromise when it comes to the Second Amendment, doesn't mean I think the Second Amendment is for everybody's age 1 and up. It doesn't mean I don't think you're responsible if you do something wrong with a firearm. And it doesn't mean I don't think you're responsible if you make a bad decision in life that causes other people to be harmed. I think you should bear some responsibility for that.
Oops.
Go ahead.
It's the lady at 46 South Rose. 46 South Rose.
Station 1 call, retone that please. 10-4. Captain 4 to go to that location also. 1-9, is that correct?